A 32-year-old Amina had moved into her new apartment in Abuja just 3 weeks ago. The apartment was in a serene neighborhood, with lush greenery and a peaceful atmosphere, a welcome change from her previous nosy and cramped quarters. But that tranquility was shattered on a stormy Saturday night. Heavy rain pounded the roof as Amina tried to settle in for the evening. She was alone in the apartment, having just finished unpacking a few boxes. The storm outside mirrored the growing unease inside her. She had just started to relax when she heard a strange sound coming from the ceiling. It was a faint, unsettling drip drip drip, but with each passing minute, it grew louder, more insistent. She looked up at the ceiling, her brow furrowing. Water was indeed seeping through a crack that hadn't been there when she moved in. The drop fell rhythmically, each sound echoing like a heartbeat. Amina grabbed her phone and called Mr. Hassan, the landlord. The call went to voicemail. She left a message explaining the situation. But the drip 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 continued, more urgent than before. She paced the room, trying to ignore the feeling that something was very wrong. The next morning, Mr. Hassan showed up at the apartment. He was a middle-aged man with an air of aloofness that Amina found off-putting. "I'm sorry about the delay, Amina," Mr. Hassan said, glancing at the water stain on the ceiling. "I'll get someone to come over and fix this. It's just that the storm caused a lot of damage across the city." Amina nodded, though her anxiety was not quelled. "How long will it take to get it fixed?" Mr. Hassan hesitated. "I can't give you a specific time frame, but I'll follow up with the repair team and let you know." Amina was left alone again, the drip 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 now a constant reminder of her unresolved problem. The sound seemed almost like a warning, and she couldn't shake the feeling that the problem was far worse than it appeared. Days passed, and no one came to fix the leak. The apartment was becoming more uncomfortable, not just because of the persistent drip, but also because of the feeling that something was lurking. Amina avoided the spot under the leak, but she could still hear the unsettling sound in the background. One evening, as she sat on the couch reading a book, she heard an unusual scraping noise from above. It was a slow, deliberate sound that made her skin crawl. She tried to ignore it, but the noise continued, growing louder and more frantic. Her phone rang. It was Mr. Hassan. "I'm sorry, Amina," he said. "I've had some trouble with the repair team. I'll be sending someone over tomorrow for sure." Amina barely managed a polite reply before ending the call. She was left alone with the scraping sound, which seemed almost as if it were trying to break through the ceiling. Fear gnawed at her as she lay in bed, unable to sleep. The next day, Amina met with the repairman, a burly man named Musa. He inspected the ceiling and looked troubled. "This is worse than I thought," Musa said, his eyes widening as he peered through a small hole. "There's a lot of water damage, and it looks like the wood might be rotting." Amina's heart sank. "How long will it take to fix it?" Musa shook his head. "I need to get more materials. It could take several days." Amina felt her frustration boiling over. "This has been going on for too long. Can't you do anything right now?" Musa glanced at her nervously. "I'll do what I can for now, but we need to address the source of the problem." He patched up the hole temporarily, but as he worked, Amina couldn't shake the sense of unease. The scraping noise from above was now joined by a faint, almost rhythmic thumping. That night, Amina lay in bed, her mind racing. The storm had returned and the wind howled through the trees outside. The scraping and thumping noises were louder now, almost as if something or someone was moving above her. In the dead of night, the noises stopped abruptly, replaced by an eerie silence. Then, she heard it, a soft, pleading whisper coming from the ceiling. "Amina." Her heart pounded. She turned on her flashlight and shone it on the ceiling. The beam revealed dark stains and what looked like scratches. The whisper grew louder. "Amina, help me." Terrified, Amina grabbed her phone and called Mr. Hassan, but the line was dead. She tried to contact Musa, but there was no response. Desperately, she grabbed a chair and climbed up to the attic hatch, which was located in a small closet. She hesitated, but the whispering voice seemed to be begging for help. With trembling hands, she opened the hatch and climbed into the attic. The attic was dark and dusty. As her flashlight scanned the area, she saw old furniture covered in white sheets and boxes stacked haphazardly. The thumping was louder here, and the whispering voice was more insistent. She followed the sounds to a corner of the attic where she saw a trapdoor in the floor, barely visible under the clutter. Trembling, she opened it, revealing a dark, narrow space beneath. With a deep breath, Amina descended into the darkness. As she descended, the temperature dropped, and she could hear muffled cries and shuffling sounds. At the bottom, she found a small, dimly lit room filled with old, decaying furniture and personal items. In the center of the room lay a figure, pale, gaunt, and shivering. It was a man. Down and barely conscious, Amina gasped and stumbled back. "Who are you? What happened here?" she managed to ask. The man's eyes met hers with a mix of fear and hope. "Help me, they left me here to die." The man's eyes met hers with a mix of fear and hope. "Help me, they left me here to die." Before Amina could respond, the room's door slammed shut behind her, plunging her into darkness. The whispering voice returned, louder now, and Amina realized it was coming from the man. "Help me, Amina," he chanted over and over. Amina's flashlight flickered out, and she was left in complete darkness. The cries and whispers grew more frantic. In the blackness, she felt a presence moving around her, something malevolent and ancient. Desperate, she fumbled for her phone, but it was dead too. The whispers grew into a cacophony of voices, each one more pleading and sorrowful than the last. Amina felt her way back to the trapdoor. But as she tried to climb up, something grabbed her ankle. A cold, skeletal hand. She screamed, but no one could hear her above the storm. The last thing she saw was the man's eyes, wide with terror, as shadows seemed to consume him and her. The voices crescendoed into a single, deafening roar as the darkness closed in on her. The next morning, the apartment was eerily quiet. The storm had passed, but the only thing left in the attic was the empty trapdoor, the room below abandoned, and the whispers of the past echoing faintly in the silence. Mr. Hassan and Musa arrived, finding the apartment as it had been before Amina's arrival. There was no sign of her, and her belongings were gone. Months later, a new tenant moved into the apartment. They heard the same drip 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 from the ceiling and the same whispers in the night. They would discover the truth soon enough, becoming part of the building's dark history, cycle of horror that continued as long as the apartment stood. And in the shadows of the attic, Amina's voice joined the chorus of the past, a haunting reminder that some places are better left unexplored. From a professional property management perspective, several key issues and actions should be addressed to avoid such situations. 1. Regular inspections. Property managers should conduct regular inspections of all units, common areas and structural elements like roofs and ceilings to catch potential issues early. This could have identified the water damage before it worsened. 2. Prompt repairs. Any reported issue, especially one involving water damage, should be addressed immediately. Delays in repairs can lead to significant structural damage and pose health risks, e.g. mold growth. 3. Tenant communication. Clear and consistent communication with tenants is crucial. Property managers should keep tenants informed about the status of repairs and any delays, providing a realistic timeline and updates. For emergency contacts. Property managers should provide tenants with a list of emergency contacts, including after-hours maintenance support, to handle urgent issues promptly. 5. Documentation. All complaints, repair requests, and maintenance actions should be documented. This helps in tracking the progress and provides a record that can be referred to if disputes arise. From a legal standpoint, several considerations and obligations must be taken into account. 1. Habitatability laws. Landlords are legally required to maintain rental properties in a habitable condition. This includes ensuring that there are no leaks, adequate ventilation, and no hazardous conditions. Failure to do so could result in legal action from tenants. 2. Lease agreements. Lease agreements should clearly outline the responsibilities of both the landlord and the tenant regarding maintenance and repair issues. This can help prevent misunderstandings and disputes. 3. Tenant rights. Tenants have the right to a safe and habitable living environment. If a landlord fails to make necessary repairs in a timely manner, tenants may have legal recourse, such as withholding rent, making repairs themselves and deducting the cost from rent, or breaking the lease without penalty. 4. Insurance. Landlords should ensure they have adequate insurance coverage for their properties. This includes liability insurance to protect against claims from tenants for injuries or damages caused by neglect. Several lessons can be gleaned from this story to improve property management and tenant relations. 1. Proactive maintenance. Regular maintenance and prompt attention to repair requests can prevent small issues from becoming major problems. A proactive approach saves money and keeps tenants satisfied. 2. Effective communication. Keeping tenants informed about the status of repairs and any delays can build trust and reduce frustration. Regular updates and transparency are key. 3. Emergency protocols. Establishing and communicating clear emergency protocols ensures that tenants know what to do and whom to contact in urgent situations. 4. Tenant safety. Always prioritize the safety and well-being of tenants. This includes addressing potential hazards immediately and ensuring that the property complies with all health and safety regulations. 5. Feedback systems. Implementing a system for tenants to provide feedback on maintenance and management services can help identify areas for improvement and enhance the overall tenant experience. By addressing these perspectives and lessons, property managers and landlords can provide a safer, more comfortable living environment for tenants and avoid potential legal issues. If you find this story insightful, please like, share and subscribe to my channel for more content on property, facility and real estate management tips. Thank you for watching and see you next time. God bless you.